Hi, I'm Kendall Trotter.
And I'm Steve Hawks.
Thanks for tuning in to this edition of the Las Vegas Real Estate Update. Today's update is about foreclosures. We've done past updates about foreclosures, on how to buy them, getting a great deal of them, but we all kind of forget about what really is a foreclosure, Steve. Could be a family that's lost their home. So it's important to talk about. Yes, you can get a great deal on a foreclosure. However, the great deal that you're getting was somebody else's loss. Also, the neighborhood that the foreclosure is in, what are the repercussions?
Right.
What's happening with property values and crime rates in these neighborhoods with a lot of foreclosures?
Yeah, there's studies that have been done on this, and it's rather staggering. A Georgia Tech study just released that a 1% rise in foreclosures equals about a 2.5% rise in violent crime. And with the Nevada, for example, we're expected 1 in every 11 homes is expected to be in foreclosure by 2009. Wow. That was from another study.
Those are staggering numbers.
Right. So that's can be a huge problem. For example, Southern Highlands. I have a friend that lives out there, and he was in his front yard, and a vacant home was across the street, and a neighbor went to look into this vacant home. There was somebody squatting in this vacant home. It was a foreclosed home, bank-owned home. The squatter...
A squatter, for people that do not know, is somebody that takes over a vacant home without the owner knowing. So they're basically living there, and they're not supposed to be.
Right. Okay. The squatter came out, allegedly, and shot 4 times the neighbor that was knocking on his door to see what was going on at that particular residence. One of the bullets ricocheted and hit my friend in the ankle. So if somebody was living in that home, he wouldn't have got shot.
Right.
But if the house wasn't foreclosed on and there wasn't a squatter in there, he wouldn't have been shot. So this is just one example, but there's many, many examples of people living in homes that have been foreclosed on. They're a magnet for drug dealing. They're a magnet for illegal crime that has been going on, and it's a huge problem in neighborhoods. Homeowners, there's things they can do to help prevent this. One of the main things they can do is when they do see a vacant house, if they see a house is in foreclosure and they're in the neighborhood, they can see if people are going in the house. If there's traffic in a vacant house, that it's not a realtor or someone fixing the house,
right,
they needed to contact the authorities, the bank, or the realtor immediately.
I've heard of some homeowners associations refusing to let agents put up signs that say foreclosure on there because they're aware of this problem. And it makes sense if things are happening like you talked about with your friend. Do I want to live on a street with 5 other houses that say foreclosed on them, bank owned? No,
sure.
I don't.
Unfortunately, that's the HOAs are trying to do what they can, but that's a pretty minute way of curbing the problem. With the internet, it's very easy to find out which homes are vacant. All they have to do is go on the internet, find out a bank-owned home, move in. So the only way that a homeowner can help his or her neighborhood keep this problem out is they have to be vigilant all the time. That's the only way. They have to contact the realtor or the bank that owns the house at a particular time. A lot of times between the foreclosure, the actual foreclosure date and the foreclosure sale, there's a leeway before a realtor is put in charge of the property by the asset
there
manager.
Always is. By the time the trustee sale happens and the time the home goes on the market, there can be 4, 6, 8 weeks a lot of times. Right. Especially with the banks so backlogged. And this is not just a Southern Nevada problem. This is a nationwide problem. Correct. I read something the other day that the city of Cleveland, or a suburb of Cleveland, is actually bulldozing homes if they've been vacant too long and they're owned by the bank. They're sending letters that you're either going to clean it up or we're getting rid of it because of the problems that are going on in the homes. The things are just festering in there, and they consider it a health hazard, and they're just coming in with the bulldozer and just wiping it out.
Right. And another obvious effect of it is when a house is becomes a drug house or a gang activity, it starts hurting the other values of the homes
Absolutely.
also. And the pattern of bank-owned homes will cause a snowball effect, because if someone's looking to buy this house and it keeps potential buyers away from it, the bank's going to keep on lowering the house.
Right.
Which means the value of your house, if you live across the street or down the street from this particular house, is going to drop even more.
Right. That's the problem. If you bought a house and it's your dream home, but the guy across the street was an investor from another state who bought it with 100% financing and got cash back on it or whatever have you, and never lived in it, never made a payment on it, now you've got a guy with a dead yard, sitting there, never made a payment. Maybe he put a tenant in it, still never made the payments, and the tenant was thrown out, unfortunately.
Right.
And we've just seen too much of this over and over again.
Right.
You know, when you say that 1 in 11 houses in Las Vegas will wind up in foreclosure, that is scary statistics.
Yeah, that was the report that they just published on MSNBC, that they are looking by 2009 that 1 in 11 homes will be in the foreclosure process in
Wow.
Nevada.
I guess what we're saying here, even if your house is not in foreclosure and you're fine, that this foreclosure problem that we're having, not only here but nationally, is truly everybody's problem. I know on my own street there's 2 foreclosures, vacant houses. I don't know who's going to move in. You know, I guess it doesn't matter, but I hope somebody does.
Right.
You know, sooner or later.
Statistics say that foreclosed house on your street or in your neighborhood drops the house maybe 10%, 5 to 10%. But what we're seeing right now in Nevada, it's dropping to sometimes as much as 30 to 50%.
Exactly, because if the house is in complete ruins, who knows what the former people did to the house by the time the bank gets it and markets it for sale. If the house is in shambles, it's not going to bring fair market value.
Correct.
And we talk a lot about on this show how there's great deals out there, and a lot of them are great deals because they are 40% under what they should really be worth. You know, you may want to put a little sweat equity in them, but for the homeowner like myself that has 2 REOs on the street, you know, that could be a problem. So I'm not selling anytime
Right.
soon, I guess.
Right. Well, then if 50% of a street goes into foreclosure, 50% of the people that buy those foreclosures, 50% of that neighborhood, that the people that bought those foreclosures are going to be extremely happy with the value that they got on the home.
The
But
buyers,
correct.
but
But the people that have lived there previously,
they're going to
They
have to
paid the
hang
higher-
tight for a while.
right, they're going to be down 50%. So that's going to create a snowball effect. One way of, curbing that, there's not much they can do in some aspects, but to keep it from going even worse is keeping the house from being vandalized, from being occupied. And like I said earlier, the ways to do that was contact the realtor, contact the bank.
Be
if
diligent
necessary.
neighbors. I mean,
Right.
you probably walk your dog and your kids and ride your bike on that street. Just be diligent neighbors. Use common sense, people.
Right.
It's that simple. You don't want drug dealers living on your street in a foreclosed home, correct?
Correct.
So I think we're about out of time for today. We hope this has been informational for you. If anybody has any questions about this, they can contact me, Kendall Trotter.
Or Steve Hawks.
And thanks for tuning in to this edition of the Las Vegas Real Estate Update.